Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and I am broadcasting from lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, where the sun is about to set. And it actually did not rain today, which is a miracle, but it rained so much yesterday that it got it out of its system. It is the 20th of June, Sunday, the 20th of June, and I don't know how it became the 20th of June, but we are almost 3 weeks into June and only 10 more days left to the month, and I don't even know how this happened. So things are flying by, time is flying by, and another week of big stuff. So let's get to it. The first thing is that Jupiter went retrograde this morning. So in my region of the world, Jupiter went retrograde this morning, and for me it was about 9 a.m. and so it was about 11 Eastern time. And okay, so that's number one. So let's deal with that one first. So Jupiter will be retrograde until October 17th, so it's about 4 months. And it does this every year. And Jupiter, being the planet of abundance and the planet of beliefs and faith and hope and all those good things, but really faith and the things we believe in and our abundance. And Jupiter's in Pisces right now, and it's going to be in Pisces till the end of July, and then it'll go back into Aquarius. And so it tiptoed into Pisces, and it'll be an Aquarius. It's really an Aquarius year for Jupiter, but this short venture into Pisces is not to be, taken lightly, because it is about faith. And Jupiter was always the traditional ancient ruler of Pisces. So we consider this to be an important venture into Pisces, however brief it has been. And it will go back into Pisces about the December 28th or 29th this year, and then spend a good portion of next year in Pisces. Now, retrograde Jupiter means that we take a step back, as we do with all retrograde planets, and until October 17th, this isn't about like, ooh, I'm going to hit the lottery. It could happen, but really this is about taking a step back and understanding your beliefs around money, around abundance, around your philosophy. Like, what are your philosophical beliefs? What do you believe about in your life? And what do you believe about abundance? What do you have faith in? And especially as it's like in this Pisces place for the next 5 weeks or so, I would say, and then it goes into Aquarius, which is about group, community, friendships, and all. But it does require us to take a moment and review in these next 4 months how we feel about having abundance. How do you feel about having abundance? And what does abundance mean to you? And, like sometimes we say, oh, I have abundance, but I don't have cash. And abundance does not necessarily mean money. Abundance could mean you have a lovely partner, and you have a beautiful home, and you have a great family, and maybe you have a big backyard and a nice car, but maybe you are in debt and you don't have cash, or something like that. Abundance could mean that you are filled with joy on a certain level. It could be just joy. It could be love. And one of the most important things is self-love, of course, because if we don't love ourselves, then we can't continue to be, functioning people at a high level. Like, if you don't love yourself, then you're not going to feel you deserve certain things. And if you don't feel you deserve certain things, then it's going to be complicated for you to get ahead in any area of your life that you don't feel abundant. So if, first comes self-love and caring for oneself and taking care of the things in one's life that, that give you self-empowerment, independence, things that are strongly associated with, like being more in control of your life, because you're not letting things fall apart. You love yourself enough to take care of all these things that require your attention. And there are varying degrees and varying levels and varying experiences and examples of self-love. And, we may love ourselves in one area of our lives, and then in another area, it's more complicated. So it is important. Self-love is sort of a big corner of abundance, and abundance being, what, like I just said, it could be literal wealth abundance, or it could just be a spirit of abundance, such as joy and happiness and a deep felt love of, the universe and yourself. So those things kind of have to happen before, the other things happen. And, one of the things everybody's looking for is love. We're all looking for love. But one of the lessons that stepping back with Jupiter is going to show us is the level of self-love that we need to incorporate into our lives, and where we may not be loving ourselves enough or giving ourselves enough credit. Self-criticism is a big deal with a lot of people who have high expectations of themselves, people who are highly intelligent maybe, and I should be doing better, and I have to have, perfect score on everything, or I have to do this job perfectly, etc. It's important to be loving to oneself, even in the face of things not going, you didn't get a perfect score on your whatever, your law exam, law entry exam or something, However, so Jupiter retrograde is, it's a big deal. It means that we're taking this step back for the next 4 months, and we do need to clean the corners of our home that within ourselves that where we're missing the abundance, where we're missing the self-love. And so that's one thing that's happening. The next thing that's happening is on Tuesday the 22nd, Mercury is finally going direct. It's slowing down to a crawl. It's very slow. It is not going to, pass through another square to Neptune until July, and that's more like the 5th of July. And it's a, direct motion at 16 degrees of Gemini. So right now we are watching Mercury go direct. So one planet's going retrograde, and like at 48 hours, another planet's going direct. And it's going to be in the afternoon on Tuesday. And it's really a deep experience we've had with Mercury this time because of three things. One, its relationship to Neptune 3 times, which the third one will come. 2, it's in its own sign, Gemini, and it's been there since, May, and it's going to be there till July 11th. 3, it occurred during the eclipse periods, and the eclipse periods are, that's the next thing we're going to talk about. So we really have like 4 things to talk about, but let me finish with Mercury. Now, Mercury is now going to finally go direct, and if there have been like things driving you crazy because details are missed and things aren't in order as you like them to be and as organized as you'd like them to be, well then, Mercury is going direct this week, and it should start to shake everything out. Okay, so if you have to, I've held back on a lot of things. I'm like working on stuff, and I want to put forth some new things like on my website and all, and like for different kinds of sessions and stuff. And I've just held on to it because of Mercury retrograde and the eclipses. Now, what's going to kick out the eclipse period is Thursday. There's a full moon, and Thursday morning or Thursday early afternoon, depending on where you are, or maybe it's Thursday night because you're in another region of the world. But the moon is in Capricorn at an early degree, like 3.5 degrees of Capricorn, and the sun will be at 3.5 degrees of Cancer. Now, that's the other thing. Tonight's the solstice, but we're going to get there. The eclipse period being kicked out means that this is the first lunation after the last eclipse. So the last eclipse was the 10th, on Thursday the 10th, and Thursday the 24th, 2 weeks later exactly, this lunation, the full moon, will say, okay, eclipse period finished, closed for business, see you in 6 months. And so we are going to feel the relief and the release of this eclipse period, and how much this eclipse period really is and has affected us, and how we can sort of examine and look at these things and see where these experiences have taken us and what journey have we been on, with the fact that Mercury's been retrograde all this time and contacting Neptune. It's been a very complicated time. And then there's the Saturn Uranus that happened. So the eclipse period is now coming to an end, and then we're going to, I think, feel more relief. I think the relief is going to come as the week progresses. So, Tuesday, Mercury will go direct. Thursday, the eclipse period is finished. And then, we can sort of look back on this and see what we've accomplished, what it's been about, how we feel emotionally, what's been the theme for each of us in our own individual lives. Then, you thought I was finished, didn't you? The day after the full moon, Neptune will go retrograde. And that's the 25th on Friday. And that's in the afternoon. And Neptune going retrograde is going to go for, a good 6 months, 5.5, 6 months. So that's what outer planets do. And so now this is the second outer planet that will be retrograde. So that was Pluto before. And then there's Neptune. Neptune going retrograde, again, belief systems. It's in Pisces. It's similar to Jupiter, except it's not about the abundance part. It's about the spirituality and where we feel we've been maybe ignoring spirituality, or where we've been fooled, or where we've been, not necessarily connecting with spirit, and this gives us a better chance over these next months to deeply recognize spirit in our lives, if you are so inclined. Otherwise, it's creativity, it's vision, it's where we get deeply involved in our own creativity. Now, Neptune is also where we get fooled, where there's illusion, and what we can do in these months is, dig deeply into whatever might not be in our best interest, where we think we may have been fooled, or we may have been, needing a stronger dose of spirit. And so we kind of go in and do that. Now, that means that Pluto's retrograde for a while now. Saturn went retrograde. Jupiter just went retrograde. And Neptune is now going retrograde. And Mercury is going direct. So this is a lot of back and forth movement, a lot. And so when the planets, that many, often this is what happens. All the outer planets go retrograde at the same time because they're sort of in tandem. Uranus is the only one. Uranus is actually not going to retrograde till August. But there's a knowledge that like a lot of planets go retrograde in the middle of the year because they spend half the year in retrograde anyway. So Neptune goes retrograde. Another step back to recognize and realize spirituality. Now, this is where, we start to look at how this is affecting us. There's also, planets changing sign this week, which I'll mention briefly. The big one is that we are at the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and that occurs, later tonight. In the Eastern time zone, it's 11:30 that the sun goes into Cancer, and that this is the solstice. So happy solstice. As of the sun has to go into Cancer. That's when the solstice occurs, okay? It's not like, it's solstice. And no, it's the 20th of June, but technically it's really kind of the 20th, 21st that we experience that solstice. So I consider tomorrow to really be the solstice, okay? Because the sun will be in Cancer then. And so the sun enters Cancer. And there we have, the beginning of what is considered summer in the north and winter in the south hemisphere. And this is when we enter, the sensitive sign of Cancer ruled by the moon. So then, this, next Saturday, we have Venus going into Leo. So this is the second planet that will enter Leo, and this is good because it's more fire. So what's happening is we're leaving. Gemini is now, like, Venus is going to leave Gemini. I'm sorry, Cancer. So we're getting out of water. We're getting into fire. Mercury's going to leave Gemini next month, and the Sun is leaving Gemini tonight. And so it'll just be Mercury in Gemini. But so the planets are shifting elements, and this is okay because there's going to be Jupiter going back into Aquarius, and so there'll still be air in the sky. But we like to have there's going to be Earth for a long time, so we have nothing to worry about as far as Earth. 2 outer planets in Earth, we're not worrying about Earth. Fire has been missing, and that was great that Mars went into Leo last week. Now we're going to have Venus going into Leo. We're not in Leo season yet where the sun goes, but we do have water. Neptune, we're going to have water. So we're always going to have water and earth for a while because Neptune's in earth, water, and the other 2 are in earth. And so we've just got to keep the balance of air and fire. And so it feels better when we have planets in all 4 elements because things feel balanced and we can get up and go and be motivated with the fire that's now available to us. And we're not in our heads or our emotions so much. We're stuck in, our ways with, like, we're a little too grounded. We're a little too practical with all that earth. Remember all that Taurus that we had back a while ago. So now we have 2 planets changing signs. That's the Sun going into Cancer tonight. We have Venus going into Leo on Saturday of next Saturday, almost a week from now. And we have, a bunch of movement. We have the eclipse period getting kicked out. It's actually a strawberry moon. Probably it's strawberry season if you grow strawberries. And so strawberries on Thursday. So this is the period of the eclipse getting kicked out by the full moon. And we have Mercury going direct. We have Jupiter retrograde today. And we have Neptune going retrograde on Friday. Wow, is that a lot of activity. And I know that this past week with the Saturn Uranus square has been complicated as well. It was a very complicated week. It was really intense. And I think that Mercury going direct is going to help. I think that the eclipse period getting kicked out is going to help. It has been it was tense, it was stressful, it was complicated, and I think a lot of people have not felt well. I've had a bunch of people, just friends, telling me they've just have been kind of blue, or they're not feeling well. I have one friend not feeling well, and it's been hard. I think this was a really hard week, and I'm really hoping that this following week is going to give us some relief as we finally get rid of these things that have been hanging in the air for the last month and a half or so, and we're finally moving forward in certain ways. So now, being the astrologer that I am, I had to look at the ephemeris because I was looking at what was going on this week. And, I have my little astrology pocket planner, and I have my astrology apps and my software that I use, and I actually put up a little bit of my software on Instagram this week. And one of the things that's so interesting is that, I have to find out, I've got to go in and look at, when Jupiter goes direct. So it's, like I said, October 17th. Now, what I didn't expect to find, I looked at the ephemeris because in a quick glance, I can see, because they shade everything. The ephemeris is the book of the planet's positions. And when you kind of zip through the month, you can see where the shading is, where something's retrograde or going direct. And it lets you know where that is. And when you look at the pages, you can see right away, without even, real movement, you can just go, oh, okay, I see some shifting of planetary energy here. So something's going direct, something's going retrograde. Things are sort of shifting out of the shaded section of the page. And so I said, when does Jupiter go direct? I have to know this. And so I looked at October, And I got a big surprise because, I try to stay in the present moment. I try to stay with where people are right now, where I am right now, where the world is right now. And I try not to get too wrapped up in what's going on in the future. I'm trying to stay present, and then we'll deal with October when October comes. However, something happened. I looked at October and I saw that within a week and a half, from the 6th through the 17th or 16th or so, the 17th, it's about 10 days or so, 11 days, 4 planets are going to go direct. So the first one's going to be Pluto. The second one is going to be Saturn. The third one is going to be Jupiter, and the next one is going to be Mercury. And I'm like thinking that this is way too much energy focusing forward at one time. That's 4 planets going direct in like a week and a half in October. Now, Mercury is going direct this week, but it'll retrograde again, in September, October. There'll be another retrograde, and that'll probably be the last one of the year. And, Mercury will go direct again, because it always does after like 3 weeks or so. But it just happens to be happening at the time that Saturn and Pluto are going direct, and Jupiter is going direct. Now, we had a little story last year, didn't we, about Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter all close together at the same time. And they were all in a group, and they kind of separated, and they came back together. And remember, they were traveling buddies last year, and they are going to all go direct within days of each other in October, along with Mercury, planet of information. So what do I think? Immediately I said, wow, that's a lot of energy moving forward, as I just said. And this is a lot of energy moving forward. Now, we're going to deal with this as we get closer to October. We don't have to worry about it now. We're still in June, thank God. But we are, now remember what I said at the beginning of this Mercury retrograde and eclipse point. We are at a turning point. We are at a turning point. And one of the things that's been so important is that each of us has recognized and had set intentions on what we want to have happen in this year. And this year has been complicated by the Saturn-Uranus square. And the second one was just the other day, and the next one will be Christmas Eve. But it's the undercurrent of the whole year. We're setting intention, knowing that Saturn is saying, I'm safer this way, and Uranus is saying, no, you got to break through and have this major release and go forward with your life. And each of us has decisions to make and intentions to set. And when I saw this, my heart skipped a beat, because I knew it wasn't just like, oh, how about that? Isn't that interesting? I knew within my gut, within my heart, that this time period in October was extraordinarily powerful. And what we're doing now, and what we have been doing in these last weeks of setting intention and reaching the turning point and knowing certain things that cannot go forward and that need to be changed and shifted, we have to expect that October is going to bring a lot of this to the fore, right up to our face. So I think that then a very big level and a big shift and a big movement forward is going to happen in October when all of that goes direct. That's a major amount of energy. And so it's a little head spinning. And then what I really feel like is important is to pay attention to what your intentions are. Attention to intention and how you want to move forward. Now, the other thing is, and this is a very psychic thing, which I don't really talk about very much because, I could be wrong, and I'm not, that's not what this is about. This is about my astrology. I was standing in my kitchen not long after this, and I don't know if it was hours after this or whatever, and I just felt this spin. I just felt that now I had this image. After looking at that, there was this image, and there was in my gut I watched this like cyclone, tornado, Vitamix spin of energy, and everything was just going to sort of get spit out and turned around. And that was going to probably be around that October time, maybe November. but we are doing some deep work on ourselves, all of us as a collective. Pluto's a collective planet. Uranus is a collective planet. It's involved with Saturn. Neptune's a collective planet. It was involved with Mercury all this time, and it's going retrograde this week. I just feel this huge shift of movement, and like it's like a tidal wave, it's like a Vitamix, it's like a spin, and it's just going to be boom. Everything moves forward, and the intentions we are setting, the manifestations we desire, are moving forward at lightning speed, probably at this point in October. It is an extremely powerful time. And I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but I figured I better start talking about this. I don't want it to be a surprise to anybody. And we are headed for a massive shift, each of us, personally and then probably globally. Some giant movement forward. And I think that this is going to be one of the most important times of the year. And what we've got to pay attention to is how we're navigating our lives between now and October. And as things are going forward and planets move forward in that 10-day period, 4 planets, wow, the important thing is, do things so that you're not engulfed during that time, and expect that, you have to pay attention to your life and sort of get control over it in a way that you're going to move forward in the way you want to move forward, and you're going to release big things and the stuff that you've been thinking about in these last few weeks while Mercury was retrograde. Remember, we're going to visit it again, the next time Mercury goes retrograde. And you're going to say, how far have I come? What have I done in these 4 months? And it's going to be huge. But I felt this definite, like, we're going over the cliff, we're going over the waterfall, and it'll be amazing. Ultimately, it will be amazing. It's not like, oh no, what's going to happen? No, it's, wow, all this work we did, all this pushing forth, it's going to come true. It's going to come real for each of us. And so I congratulate each of us on working on our intentions, setting our intentions, working towards a goal that's going to manifest later this year. And it's so important to be alert and aware of what our goals are at this point, and what kind of intentions, where are we setting our life course? How are we navigating our boat as we're going forward? And this is a very deep and important time. So I really believe that each of us has a job to do right now, and that is to really examine these intentions, really step back, look at the abundance, look at your spirit, look at your beliefs. And you know what? In order for you and each of us to step forward into a new world, into a new life, into the things we want, we have to examine what we believe about these things. What do you believe about money? What do you believe about abundance? What do you believe about love? What do you believe about what you deserve? These are so important to ask ourselves these questions. They're so important, and it's a big movement forward coming later this year. So, hang on to your hats. We've got to buckle our seatbelts. We've got to get ready for that big ride in October, and we've got to do the work in these months. Now, nobody wants to do work now. Up north, it's summer. People want to go to the beach. They want to have barbecues. They want to have parties outside in the backyard. They want to relax and sit in the sun and read a book and take a vacay. And I understand, but maybe you should read a book about consciousness and not like some pulp novel. Put down Valley of the Dolls and pick up Becoming Supernatural. This is a big moment. It's going to be a big moment. So I felt that. I felt that in my heart, and my soul, and my gut. And so I just wanted to inform you, my astro darlings, how important these next months are to be working on your belief system. Jupiter and Neptune, which are both technically the rulers of Pisces, although Jupiter rules Sagittarius too, and that's its primary ruler right now. Both of them going retrograde within a week of each other. This is about belief systems. This is about what we believe and what we believe in, and what we believe about ourselves and our lives. And so that is where we are at this point. Now, as far as moon activity, we know we're having a full moon on Thursday, and yay, I'm happy about that full moon. And if you do have planets at 3 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer, you will feel that. Now, right now the moon's in Scorpio. It goes void late, late tomorrow night, and really in the wee hours of Tuesday morning. So it goes void, and then it enters Sag. We get up in the morning on Tuesday and it's in Sag, and then Mercury goes direct 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, and the moon's in Sag, and then Wednesday night it will go void. So it'll be void until the next morning again around 9, when Thursday it goes into Capricorn, and then we have that full moon. And then it stays in Capricorn on Friday, and it stays in Capricorn on Saturday, and kind of goes void for about an hour before, it's like an hour and 20 minutes or so. It goes void in the morning, and then it goes into Aquarius Saturday morning, the 26th. And the moon enters Aquarius and Venus enters Leo. So the goddesses are going to be talking to one another again in opposition. And so it'll be something. And then it stays in Aquarius Sunday, and it goes void in the afternoon of Sunday in Aquarius. And then the following Monday it'll go into Pisces in the afternoon. So there's a kind of a long void between Sunday afternoon and Monday afternoon next weekend into the new week. So what's your assignment? What do you believe? What do you believe about a lot of things? Ponder it, deeply go in and connect with it. And the faster you overcome belief systems that are holding you back, the faster you will feel better and not limited. Okay? And it's important as we move towards these months ahead, and we recognize our big turning point that's going to come true for us. Okay? So get excited. These are good things, not icky things. These are good things. And examining our beliefs are what we need to focus on in the months ahead. In the meantime, if you would like to book a session with me, you can go to thegoldenastrologer.com and click on book online. You can see me on Instagram doing videos. It's also The Golden Astrologer. Read my blog, which is at my website, The Golden Astrologer, and it's called Astrologer's Thoughts, which you can scroll down and click on the bottom of the page. My Twitter is at DebAstrology, and I'm here if you need me. So please have a beautiful week ahead. Enjoy that Mercury's going direct. Celebrate the full moon that we are kicking out the eclipse period, and celebrate this time where you get to be alone with your beliefs and connect with them and understand them better, so that you can move past the ones that you don't want anymore and enhance the ones that you do want. Have a beautiful week. Thank you for listening. Gratitude to everyone, one and all.